the prosecutor or whoever was interviewing him. It was like a legal matter though. It was like, yeah, Joe Biden's a good guy. You know, he's a sweet, elderly old man, and they think like his faculties are just a bit compromised type shit at this moment. So I don't think he about to deal with no.
The last lawyer that was in presence of him, they were trying to get the case removed, and as of right now, they're stymieing that. So why don't they just release the tapes of him having an interview with special counsel so we can see how he talks in private? Like wouldn't you want more like transparency? Correct?
Imagine if he was playing domino to beat these charges. That's actually pretty smart.
Abby. Yeah, Abby.
Yeah.
Abby.
What?
You think
Yes.
Biden wants to sound before he leaves the White House?
Yes. I think so. I think he said he's not going to, but if he doesn't get yeah, absolutely. I think he does.
Yeah, my sources from the Democratic Party, like, he's not going anywhere. So you might as well just put all your eggs in this basket.
David, I was kind of hearing that too through a friend that's kind of the congressional side of it, that they think he's not going anywhere. But then the last 3 days, getting a lot of articles and then people talking generally about the money drying up, the major donors. And that's going to force the issue more than anything, more than the people, it seems, trying to persuade him that, so Abigail Disney dried up, and there's a question of who else is going to pull back on funding. He needs a lot of money for this.
Yeah, I was trying to say, so my Democratic friends in Jersey, they're going to say they support him, but the other half says they're not going to put money behind it. So, yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's in limbo, right? Because I'm a Republican. I know where I am, but when I talk to my Democratic friends, they're all over the place. You know, I don't know how to gauge it at this point. I'm done speaking.
I have a little bit of a moral objection with the which is a little bit difficult for me because I'm well and truly in the camp of fuck Hunter Biden, but I'm also in the camp of the pro-Second Amendment and anti-drug. So it puts me in kind of a tricky position when I see really crappy drug policy making a lot of student force, really crappy firearm policy, all amalgamating it.
Why is it tricky? It's simple. You obey the law or you don't obey the law. Why is it tricky?
Well, hold on. Some laws are you should absolutely not obey. The idea of you should always obey the law. If we were to give you a time machine and take you back to slavery times, you're basically would be making a pro-slavery argument. So I think that it's important to note that some laws are stupid. But Stilgart, what I'd like to see happen is when Donald Trump wins the election, I'd like to see him pardon Hunter Biden. I think that would be the most gangster move we could.
That's pretty funny. And then Roger, of course, blue laws. If we had to obey all the blue laws that are still on the books, it would be a problem. If you think about it, I think you still really can't kiss someone in a public park on Sunday in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I just think it's fundamentally bad if people participate if people participate in a particular subset of chemical substances, that they should then be removed from the Second Amendment. But yeah, I just think remaining morally consistent, fuck Hunter Biden, and also fuck that drug league.
Poetic justice is a reality, though. Let's clap it up one time for that.
I think he pardoned Steve Bannon, right? How long does Steve Bannon have to stay in jail? Do you know how long that's in?
That's not
4 months. It's 4 months. Actually, it's 4 months, Abby.
4? I thought it was 5. Okay.
Yo, what are your thoughts on RFK?
I don't think about it. The guy wants us to eat bugs. He hates our gun rights more than Trump and Biden. The guy quite literally in 2018 said that we should abolish the Second Amendment. Fuck that guy and everyone that's voting.
Fuck you too, Roger.
Second Amendment.
Say what?
Can you post like a link or a source for that? Hold on, let me look.
He tweeted it in 2018. He's deleted it since, but anybody that's been paying attention remember.
I'm saying, worst come to worst though. Well, you're not anti-Trump. I be asking like the people that's crazy for Joe
I am
Biden.
anti-Trump. I'm anti-Trump. I'm anti-Biden. I'm anti-RFK Jr. I'm anti-Cordell West. I'm anti-Jill Stein. I'm anti-Chase Oliver. I'm anti all of them. I don't want any of them. I'm voting for Norm. I'm going to literally write in Norm. And on election day, when I take a photograph of it, it'll be my PTR for at least a month.
Is that because his child's stepmother is Jumar?
Stop it. I'm voting for Norm because I think what we need is more Democrats like Norm. I think if this country had Democrats like Norm, I wouldn't care who the Republican.
I'm voting for you, Kelly.
I wouldn't run. I wouldn't accept it. But I appreciate the kind thoughts. Now, if they wanted to have me to chair the Federal Reserve in order to abolish it, then we can.
So why would you abolish the Federal Reserve?
Well, yeah, it starts with common sense. But the idea of having a shadowy agency that's pseudo government that's responsible for controlling the interest rates and being able to indicate which money the Treasury should print. This is not something that this is not the way that the Constitution was designed. This is an institution that if we had any common sense, we would get rid of. If you look at what Argentina is doing under Milei, they got rid of their reserve banking. That was the first thing he did. And I think getting rid of the Federal Reserve for us would be the first step to taking our country back. But I'm guessing because we're in mixed company of Democrats and Republicans and independents and a lot of people that think about politics in the way that they've been spoon-fed it all their life, I'm sure there's going to be an argument of why the Federal Reserve is necessary. Go ahead and give it.
So I'm going to give it to you now, only because I'm obviously pro the Fed, and
you're also an alcoholic, though.
But can I give you a reason why I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You carry on.
Yeah, so the Fed, as you call it, the Federal Reserve of the United States, based on, I would say they have the bankers that are involved in making these decisions understand economic policy more than anybody who is involved in government, who tries to pretend to decide, this is how government policy should work. This is how fiscal policy should work. We don't want that. We want people who are independent, who are able to make decisions exclusive of government bias, exclusive of government influence, and I think that's a positive thing. I don't know why it's a negative thing in your mind.
And you believe that that's what's happening?
I think it is happening. I think, again, with all due respect, I think if you look at, it would be very simple for the current head of the Fed to raise or lower interest rates and say, oh, it's amazing, our economy is great, but he's not doing that. He hasn't done that for the past couple cycles because he's not influenced by politics, right? Because, like, otherwise, like, that's one of the talking points.
That is not right. That is the antithesis of correct. They're extremely political. The idea that you think that they're not political is fucking hilarious. I don't even know where to begin to push back on this because you just said something that's just categorically wrong. It would be like if we walked outside and you were to say, the sky's green, right? And then when I say, well, no, it's blue, you're just not even seeing the objective reality.
Are you saying that you're saying the Fed is biased?
Of course it's biased. We're all biased. What are you talking about?
The Fed governors are appointed. Like that's with all due respect, it's like definitely it's categorically not true. That's not true. Every single Fed governor is appointed. Like
wait, hold on. Where did they find these magical people that are unbiased?
Even the head, like our guy who is now head of the Fed, right? That was based on being appointed by our Congress, and they decided based on
Jerome Powell was not
Sorry, go ahead.
appointed by the Congress.
Sorry, go ahead.
Jerome Powell was appointed by President Trump, not by Congress.
Okay, yes.
But you're saying it's an appointed position by the President of the United States, and it's not political?
Okay.
It's not a big leap I'm taking here, Mr. Bobadilla.
Let's assume, going by your logic, let's assume they're all political, but at the end of the day, there's other governors involved who make policy decisions. Like, you're saying all those people also are... Come on.
Yes, I'm saying the decision makers of the world's reserve currency are political by nature, the very nature of the positions.
Well, who decides that? You're talking about Treasury, or are you talking about, like...
Everyone find the mute button, including the people that are speaking. There you go. So, like, David, as I hear you speak, it sounds to me like maybe you just heard about the Fed maybe for the first time in your life 2 days ago, and maybe you're making things up as you're going along. You certainly are not speaking about the Fed in any way that resembles reality. I think a lot of people misunderstand how the Federal Reserve actually works. Do you know how many regional banks comprise the Federal Reserve System?
Yeah, so it's like I'm going to estimate like 7. There's
12. There's 12. And each of these are privately owned, okay? And then so these privately owned banks, they get to set the monetary policy, right? They get to set the monetary policy, and what they're able to do is they're able to create money out of thin air.
Yeah, but
we're not on a gold standard. They're creating money out of thin air, right? And here's the worst part.
Yeah, but Roger, with all due respect.
I wasn't finished. I'm going to land my plane in a second, and then I'd love to hear your drunken tangent. I want to understand why you're okay with an agency that is comprised of 12 regional banks, private banks, that get to print money out of thin air, and on top of that, they're not subject to the same, the same government oversight that you would have for a government agency. They operate independent of the government, which I like for most things, but when it comes to printing money, what they've done is they've allowed 12 banks to come together and form a cabal that gets to go ahead and print. They get to print anything they want. And there's no, and you do not have to square it, and that you do not have the oversight or the transparency to instill trust in the people. Tell me, of what I just said, tell me which is incorrect.
I think when it comes to central banking, when it comes to the Fed, they're doing the best they can to help monetary policy in America, right? So like when you say like these people like in the Central Bank of New York or in California or whatever, like they're voting on monetary policy that helps the economy of the U.S. So I don't know how you can vote against that. I don't know how you can say the people that are not politically motivated, they're there.
Wait.
Trying to justify. These are bankers who know monetary policy. I know these bankers.
No, time out. Hold on. You keep saying they're not politically motivated. That's just like, on its face, it's false. We're all politically motivated. Are you saying that they're not registered to vote? Are you saying that they don't vote? Are you saying that they don't have interest? You're saying that people that run regional banks in this country don't have political interest in how the economy moves money around? And if they were given control to be able to print money, that they might not have some bias in how much they're going to print? You don't think that they, like what planet are you living on? Jesus Christ. Pour me what you're drinking.
I can't speak to that. I don't know if it's from what I know about like economic policy, it shouldn't matter.
It sounds like it's very little.
It shouldn't matter. The only reason that matters is because the governors of the different federal banks, they have like the governor of a federal bank in San Francisco, they have their own justification for determining economic policy versus like the governor in New York who has his or her economic policy like idea, statute. That's it. It's all based on like regional ideas, regional economic opportunity, not based on whoever the president is. That's separate. That was the whole justification of like having the Federal Reserve being separate from the Treasury. The Treasury is a different thing. Treasury will spout like craziness from the White House all day long, but that's different from the Federal Reserve. With all due respect, I'm done speaking.
I only got one further question, and then we can move on here. Vodka or gin martini?
Always vodka. Come on.
Dirty?
Never dirty.
All right. We can get along. We found areas of agreement. David, I appreciate you. Okay.
Hey, Roger, I can't find anything that remotely said RFK said he wanted to ban the Second Amendment. He actually came out and said that taking people's guns away will not stop kids from being killed.
Yeah, these are recent comments. I'm talking about a tweet that he made in 2018.
I'm all the way back to 2016. I can't.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You can go to my profile because I've retweeted it about 17 fucking times. So you can go ahead and look for that. As a matter of fact, I'll go get you a fucking link for it. The fact that you don't pay attention to this shit as much as I do doesn't mean that fucking I'm in.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, I'm happy to share it with you. And by the way, that doesn't mean that these other knuckleheads are good when it comes to the Second Amendment. Remember, Donald Trump, get the guns first, worry about due process later, bans bump stocks, and then Joe Biden straight up told people he's coming for the guns. So, they all want the guns to some varying degree. The only person that's running that actually would protect your rights. The problem is he would never win. He'll never get even more than say 1% of the vote. Is Chase Oliver, but Chase Oliver's got some wrong thinking on some other core issues, so we can't vote for the guy. We can't really vote for any of these guys. That's why we're voting for Norm. That's why Norm is the right-in choice. If you guys really want to, get America back on track, you got to vote for Norm.
When we write it in, do we write El Normo or do we write Norman in his last name?
We write his Christian name, even though he's not a Christian. We're gonna give his real name, and we're going to vote for him. And by the way, if you want to vote for somebody else, you can do that. But it should definitely be a write-in choice because none of the people that are going to appear on your ballot are worth a shit.
So are we ballot harvesting for Norm?
I would go on a tour around the country. I should go to old folks' homes and harvest ballots for him. I would absolutely participate in the most massive attempt at voter fraud to get Norm elected president. I would take one for the team, and then when he wins, he can pardon me.
Imagine how long his speeches would be. Spare me. He wouldn't stop talking.
But everything he would say would make sense.
I think he would be great in debates, though.
I would love, you know what? I would love to hear Norm roll out his solution for fighting crime in big cities. I don't think I've ever heard anybody on this app talk with more crystal clarity than Norm does about how to solve crime. If you want to mitigate crime, you have to enforce the laws. It's pretty simple stuff. I won't even try to paraphrase his points because it's like trying to speak for like Moses or something. You don't do that. Like I think that Norm is the only Democrat that I've ever met that I could vote for. So I'm going to change my voter registration to Democrat, and I am going to start a Norm caucus within the Democrat Party. And I think this is how we're going to take the whole country back. We need a Norm.
Who would be his running mate?
I don't know if Abby would take it. She'd probably want to be appointed, Attorney General instead. But I think Abby would bring a lot of good points. What about Ken Frankel? A Norm and Ken ticket, I think would work. And knowing that Abby would be in the cabinet, I think that would work really well.
I don't know. I got to think about whether I want public service or not. Too many skeletons, I think.
Well, Abby, what you could do as Attorney General is do the opposite of Holder. You know how he gave guns to the cartels. Maybe what you could do is get the guns from the cartels, and then we'll have a lottery and give them out to Americans instead.
If I was Attorney General, it's like if I was King of the Forest, I'd be prosecuting like crazy.
What would be the number one crime to go after, Abby?
Hate crimes. Take them all down. Do you know that our brilliant Attorney General, Garland, has only prosecuted 2 hate crimes since October 7th?
That is pretty disgusting.
Come on, Abby. You know that's because all the hateful people are in those red states and stuff like that. You know that, Abby. Come on. You know? They're all from the previous guy. There's no more hateful people in America. We're in a utopia.
It's utopia, right? Then I would absolutely change some of the restrictions on gaming. I think that would be probably one of my first moves. I'd change the limits on jackpots, which allegedly are going to change. I'd move them up to today's standards, like probably
$6,000
or $10,000. Yeah, I think it's supposed to go up to 58.
I mean, that doesn't even require legislation. Who's the controls that? I mean, that's just the
IRS ruling. So allegedly we're getting it changed. I mean, there's been all this chatter that's gone up to 58.
Fingers crossed.
Well, how do you know that they're gonna have New York City put in 3 casinos in New York City? And I'm hoping that the guy who owns the Mets, Steve Cohen, gets on those licenses, but it's not looking.
Yeah, who's now on the right? I know LBS was in it for a while, Sands, but who's like the contenders?
The only names I know are Steve Cohen from the Mets and the guy Wynn from Vegas.
Not Wynn would be when he's out of gaming. So is it the Wynn company?
It might be. It might be.
Yeah, Steve Cohen has spoken to the Wynn Corporation to open up a Wynn casino.
Oh, to open up a Wynn there.
Yeah, he wants to open a Wynn casino, and he wants to get a whole, like, restaurant complex there. He's basically following the same model that the guy who started CA wanted to do in Nassau Coliseum.
But it doesn't work you'd have to have everything all enclosed. Is this the one in Manhattan?
No, this is the one in Queens. It's in Queens. Flushing.
Yeah. That's different. If it's a destination, it works. The concept when I first heard they wanted to do like Times Square or something seemed crazy.
Well, one of the bids, Abby, is to put a casino in Coney Island, which I think would be fantastic. But I don't know where that's at.
Yeah, that makes more sense to have it. You want it as a destination and all enclosed.
Yeah.
I had heard the one at Times Square, and they were saying, well, there's all restaurants around it. Well, you don't want to do that. You never want anyone leaving the property.
Yeah, there's this talk of having it in Flushing, Queens, and then having one out east by the Hamptons area, kind of like near Riverhead. Hamptons, the view is it'll rebuild that area, and not the Hamptons, but all the areas out there. But it'll also bring a lot of crazy people out there too. So a lot of pushback locally.
Yeah, it does attract some crazy, but there's good public sentiment generally for it in New York.
Well, I mean, so the infrastructure bill had some details that are helping with this. So there's always been this vision for people who live in Long Island that there would be like a fast highway, like bridge highway thing that connects Long Island to Connecticut that could go, kind of right across. You don't have to go through the city. And the thought is if you put a casino here somewhere, then you're creating that kind of fast, so you can have people who work in Boston or who work in those areas decide to live in some parts of Long Island. I mean, it's a dream that people actually do that, but the view is that, you can still attract that,
licenses, mostly.
group of
Perform child murder,
consumers and
aka
travelers
abortion.
and things like that. So, politicians want it. So,
well, Abby, maybe. So, I mean, here's the players. You got related companies that Wynn Resorts, their budget is $12 billion, right? And then you got, hold on, the MGM Resorts International, their budget's only $3 billion. Okay, and then you got Stefan Soloviev and Mohegan Sun, their budget's $10 billion.
So Mohegan Sun's in it. That makes sense. Go ahead.
Mohegan Sun, okay. Gatling Group, Genting Group.
Genting is Resorts World. They're out of Singapore.
Yeah, their budget's $5 billion. This money's crazy. You got Bally's Corporation. They're $3 billion.
That's
and then you got Steve Cohen and the Hard Rock International Group. Their budget's $8 billion. And then you got Thor Equities, Chickasaw Nation's Global Gaming Solutions, Saratoga Casino Holdings, and Legends Hospitality Group. Their budget's $3 billion. And then you also got Season Entertainment with Jay-Z and SL Green. I don't know what SL Green is. Their budget's, oh wow, doesn't even say it's billions. That's the contenders, Abby.
Wow, that's kind of like all the players, basically.
Because it's New York.
Minus the Fountain Blue. It's probably in there, figured out a way to get in there too. That's wild.
I'm going to put an article in the chat.
Okay.
What's going on, America?
Hey, buying a gift for my sister. She's pregnant. About to have her baby shower coming up from Florida.
God bless.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Mazel tov. Wow.
I have a very serious question, actually. I don't know if there or not.
What's up?
When is Roman Reigns' return? And you see what happened before Hayden, bro?
Yeah, man, they put him through the table.
Bro, he is the best manager ever. To me, not even.
Yeah, but was that real? Is he really injured, or is it just for show?
It's storyline. But at 58 and being as out of shape as he is, any bump he takes is going to be risky. I don't think he's the best manager of all time. I think Jim Cornette and Bobby the Brain Heenan are still the top two. But
What about Paul Bearer? Come on, bro.
well, listen, I'm a little old school, so I'm.
It's not right. It's up to you, okay? But what about
History? You
Well,
don't know history?
okay, you're right. You're right. Okay. What about 1973, 10 of October, so when Egypt crushed Israel?
You didn't crush us. We got 100 kilometers from Cairo. We got 100 kilometers from Cairo. How the fuck could you crush us if we're 100 kilometers from your capital city? You begged for the Americans. You begged for the Americans that we want to starve your 3rd Brigade. 30,000 soldiers. We circled them. We could create 30,000 dead soldiers. And only because the Americans forced us not to kill them, we didn't kill them. We crushed you in 1973, and you're full of propaganda. I know that you celebrate the October 6th as you won, but you didn't win because in the end of the war, Sinai stayed Israeli. You didn't get 1 millimeter. The only way you got territory back, the only way was due to the peace agreement. Without peace agreement, you wouldn't get a meter. Put left. You don't know history. You can left because you're an idiot that don't know history. That's okay.
Just give me my chance, please. You said we were 100 kilometers from the capital of Egypt, but you didn't even mention the great battle between Egypt and Israel, who destroyed the great battle, the legend of Israel army that no one in the world can defeat them. But what's gonna happen? The question is, what's gonna happen if the United States of America raise their hands from supporting Israel? Israel just a doll between hands of the United States in the Middle East. Israel working as a military base in the Middle East. You know that. And do you know Israel?
Where did you get the equipment? What are you kidding me? Where did you get the equipment? From Soviet Union. The same equipment we got from United States, you got equipment from Soviet Union. So each of us had an empire behind it. The only thing is that you didn't provide for Soviet Union because you kept losing. That's it. We got ammunition from the Americans. You get ammunition from Soviet Union. Learn fucking history.
Okay, the same thing that the United States having done with Israel, and until the moment, United States doing the same thing because they have agreed deals with Israel. I don't even know what is the thing, but Zionists is ruled the world, and we know all the reasons.
So now Jews rule the world. Jews rule the world.
Muhammad, listen, I'm afraid to tell you that you have been like completely brainwashed You'll be radicalized. The thing that you say. Listen, dude. And I think, hold on. And I think that before YouTube at the top, I suggest that you watch it. Maybe you can open a bit your eyes about what really is Hamas and how they play with propaganda and how they affect also people like you that think that they know what's going on. But everything that you said from the beginning was, I'm sorry, complete propaganda nonsense. It's not factual.
And I appreciate your opinion. I swear to God, that I appreciate your opinion. You are a opinion. And
it's not about an opinion. It's not about opinion. I'm talking about historical facts, and I care for the facts, even when they are not aligned with my narrative or my beliefs, because facts do matter. It's like when you started. It's like when you started saying Israel is taking hostages. You are manipulating the reality to fit a narrative which is false.
You guys, you know, I'm an Arabic person. You are doing the same thing because you're in Israel and you are caring about your citizen, people over there in your country. But even the issues in between us as Arab people and the bad situations that our countries in nowadays, but we still with other brother and sister out there in Gaza because in our blood, they are in our blood, and we can't
Exactly. It's not about truth. Exactly, Muhammad. It's not about truth. It's about you aligning automatically with the Palestinians because they are Arab. Even though they are murderers and they are terrorists.
No. Okay, you can't. No,
you said it yourself. You said it yourself. You align with them because they are Arabs, not because they are right.
And you are doing the same thing with your
Arabs. No. Let's be honest again. You're not saying they are right. You are aligning with them because they are your brothers, Arab and Muslim. That's it.
100%, yeah. They are my brothers.
Okay. So at least you need to acknowledge your bias and understand that sometimes your brother is a bad person that needs discipline. Sometimes your brother.
You can hand their lands back, and you can build your state side by side with Palestinian people. Okay, that is really.
What is their state? What do you mean their state?
Okay, state of Israel, state of Palestine. You just said that we don't have the right to exist, Muhammad. But you just said Israel don't have the right to exist, right? No,
You called it an illegal country. You called it
Listen to me at least for once. Jewish people have my unshakable respect, but I hate Zionism. Zionism is a bad thing.
Zionism is the same thing. Listen, Muhammad, I heard this. Basically, what you're spewing is propaganda. You started here with saying Israel is not a legal state, which is false. You said that Israel is taking hostages.
As a Zionist people.
Listen, Muhammad. Facts. It doesn't matter what you are. Facts are facts. Israel is a legal state. You can check it, okay? And also, you said Israel is taking hostages, which is also false. And then you said that we control the world, which is also false. Everything that you are saying is tropes which come from basically from Russian and Nazi propaganda.
Okay, let's move on.
Are you watching Al Jazeera? Are you watching it?
Okay.
Can you just answer?
Blame me. What Israel have done after 9 months of fighting in Gaza? What about Hamas have done? Hamas united the whole world behind their back and let the true face of Israel show to the whole world. Is Hamas won the war nowadays? Can you by admission of your Prime Minister of Netanyahu saying we need to end this war as fast as possible because we are in a embarrassing situation. What about if we hold the war the former president?
I don't know where you got this quote from. Are you watching Al Jazeera?
exactly Gazera and
Okay, got it.
folks and too many mass media, world
I
mass media.
suggest,
Come
okay. This now makes more sense. First of all,
Expunge the
please,
Democrats.
the link at the top, please save it and watch it later. It's 20 minutes. Please invest your time if you really care for the truth. You were saying about why it takes 9 months, and then you said, okay, I want to answer about this Hamas winning the war and seeing the truth. People like, hold on.
the moment you didn't even destroy at least 30%, maybe 20% of Hamas capabilities.
We actually killed 18 out of the 24 battalions. I think it's more than 30%. This is the last time I checked my math.
Dude, you have to read more about this conflict. It's a
From Al Jazeera to read? Really?
No.
From the Qatar-based...
in other sources that you have read confidence in it. You can go ahead.
I read a lot, believe me. I do a lot of my time I spend on this topic. And by the way, I'm very well versed in this topic way before October 7th. Actually, I and also Rotem, we lived this conflict for decades. We didn't join the conversation in the last 9 months. The reason that you believe what you see is exactly the Hamas propaganda. People like you are the reason why people are dying in Gaza. The more civilians dead in Gaza, the more support Hamas gets, and the more the name of Israel is being defamed. This is exactly the Hamas tragedy. People like you, Muhammad, and go to sleep with this tonight, are the reason that people are dying in Gaza. You incentivize Hamas. You and all those idiot pro-Palestinians marching in the street, calling out Israel, because Hamas is using the tactics of sacrificing their own people, so their pictures will spread around the news, so they will get more support. The more people are dead, the more support they get, and the more Israel is defamed. This is the truth, Muhammad.
By the way, Israel is losing the war in Gaza and Hamas.
So why are you calling for ceasefire, Muhammad?
The Gaza Strip,
If we are losing, why are you calling for ceasefire?
and we are going to see that.
Muhammad, if we are losing, why you call for ceasefire? You should call for
ceasefire because you want your people. You want your people in Gaza.
We want to fight.
We don't want ceasefire. We don't want ceasefire.
Okay, you can go ahead and start fighting, but you can't even continue to do this bullshit without the United States. And the United States don't do more things for you because world is again the United States and the United States will take their.
There isn't a soldier, an American soldier in Gaza. What are you talking about? What is it for us?
I'm sorry, come again?
You're saying America did for you. America didn't sell a single soldier. There isn't any boots on the ground.
Did for me? America did what for me?
We are the fights, not America.
Okay, what about the source of the weapons and arsenal of the Israeli?
5%, and now the what we get from the United States is about 5. Hold on. About 5% of the budget is from the United States. The 95%, the other 95% are ours. So yes, we appreciate the American help, but even if we didn't have the American help, the war would continue.
Come on, don't be arrogant, okay? With you, Israel, without the United States is done.
Muhammad, you know what's funny? You know what's funny? That Egyptian is talking with me about American help. Americans give you tanks, they give you the airplanes, they're giving you much more than what they give us.
Because
so
we
what are
have
you talking about? All your army is American army. All your army. The airplanes, the tanks, the weapons, everything is American. What are you talking about? Without America, you don't have weapons, you don't have tanks, you don't have nothing.
Okay. I think 5 years ago, because I'm right now an electrical engineer, 5 years ago we got a problem with the United States America because we were export bombs and launch and rockets to the South Korea, North Korea, and United States of America were about to sanction Egypt for his wrongdoing, but Egypt, you know what Egypt done? Egypt import their weapons and these rockets from a variety of sources around the world, such as Russia, South Korea, North Korea as well.
So what's the problem? So why are you bitching about us?
And the most important thing, you have to visit our Egypt defense system in Egypt. We have a great expansion thing in Egypt. You have to visit it to know more about our defense system and manufacturing Egypt nowadays.
And you think we don't you think we don't manufacture weapons?
I'm sorry, come again?
Do you think that we don't manufacture weapons and even sell it to others?
No, you don't have anything. What about the reporter of your country? Your country is a small country. Your country.
Wow, you should stop saying Al Jazeera. Really, honestly,
is a small country.
you need to stop. You need
Their
to.
technology. You don't have a real model in
There are
society.
more channels. Like you can press. It's like a little arrow. If you want to press or to see another channel other than Al Jazeera, right? Like you can press +1, +2, see other channels because you're fucking brainwashed. Like just open whatever you want. You can hear about the arrow. You can hear about the Jericho missiles. Like
Okay, I promise. Okay, I'm gonna watch too many variety of mass media. Okay, you know, since I have started to learn English, I watch CNN, Fox News, and a variety of things around the world from each
But do some independent research. I mean, you're being brainwashed by Al Jazeera.
You drop the link, and I'm gonna watch it. I promise. Okay, but I'm gonna do the same thing with you.
Okay. But you're talking things that are like from the beginning of the conversation. This is why we asked you. It was very obvious that you are watching Al Jazeera because you've been brainwashed with, I'm sorry, complete nonsense. Now, what I suggest is that when you hear something from Al Jazeera, go and research it yourself. Do some Google searches, but do them in a critical thinking way. Try to find the fault. Try to find what they are not telling you. What you're saying here, I'm sorry, Muhammad, is complete nonsense and complete ignorance of many, many topics that, it's very obvious that you're getting very narrow, one-sided Al Jazeera narrative, which, I'm sorry, it's far from the truth. And you can have your, and it's okay to have your own opinion at the end. You know, you can at the end form your own opinion, but you cannot have your own fact. That's it.
Okay, but I want to mention an important thing. Although the normalization between Israel and the too many Arab countries in the Middle East is that doesn't mean that Israel already normalization their relationship with those Arab countries. It just there are too many hidden things in our hearts, and you know what is the meaning of hidden things in Arabic heart.
You hate us. Yes, I know. This is what it was.
I told you.
We know that the Egyptians hate us. It's not a secret.
Listen, Muhammad, we have nothing.
I swear to God, by its whole name, I don't hate you. I hate Zionism, not Jewish.
It's the same thing. 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 Okay, now what? Let's do an exercise. Tell me, what is Zionism?
Zionism, I have no more information about Zionism, but I can't.
No, what is the definition? Listen, you are saying, no. You are saying that you have a problem with Zionists. You mentioned this word 3 times. I'm asking you, what is the definition of Zionists?
Okay, give me a second.
No, I mean, you don't know, you're using it, you hate us. You just said you hate Zionists. I'm a Zionist, by the way, okay?
Don't play with the words. Don't distort my truth.
I'm not playing.
The word knows the truth.
Muhammad, you said you hate Zionists. okay? I'm a Zionist, Rotem is a Zionist, Ed is a Zionist, you hate us, and I'm asking you, what is a Zionist that you hate?
I told you, just give me a second to retrieve, to ask Google and get back with the report, with the words that you need to know.
I know what Zionism is. You're using it because you don't want to say Jews.
You hate us and you don't even, you're like, you're a Zionist, which is like people that believe in Zionism, and you don't know what Zionism is. Does that make sense?
You understand how brainwashed you are, Muhammad, that you hate people that are Zionists? But when I ask you what is a Zionist, you cannot say. Maybe, Muhammad, this will open your eyes that you've been brainwashed. That you don't even think before you speak. And I'm not saying it as a bad, like I'm not trying to hurt.
If I don't have enough information about the rule in conflict between Israel and Palestinian people in our lands, in our Middle East, I can't get up and I can't tell Duma, the weak person in his meeting, in his interview with you, to tell you that Muhammad is, you just want Muhammad to, because he has too many things want to talk about with you about. Okay, and you can give me one explanation about what Israel has done after 9 months in Gaza Strip.
No, we will go there. But you said that you don't hate Jews, you hate Zionists.
You stutter because you don't have enough information about the clear things in land.
No, hold on. Before we move on to that topic again, you said you don't hate Jews, you hate Zionists. And then I asked you, what is Zionist exactly? So I'm asking you again, what is Zionist?
Zionism is a difficult associated with labor Zionism and Zionism, which are not fundamentally different. It means that Zionism is a geopolitical system in the world, can lead the world to bad things, to achieve their own ideas.
What?
That is so completely false. But let me ask you this question, Daniel. Let me break it down a different way. Mohammed, do you believe in a two-state solution?
What? I'm coming in.
Do you believe Israel living side by side with Palestine?
I believe in it.
Okay, so you're a Zionist. You're a Zionist.
I believe in it.
You're a Zionist.
I told it to the Daniel from the beginning of this conversation. We can't live side by side in our lands. Just remember that, because your people, your ancestors stole our lands from our ancestors.
Muhammad,
we can break that
you're
down.
A Zionist. You're a Zionist, by the way, and you hate yourselves then. I don't think you know what that.
Well, I'm sorry,
all of the land prior to the partition was purchased. Then there was a partition. Israel accepted. The Arabs did. Then there was the war. And by the way, the Nakba was also at the behest of Arab regimes. I can read you at least 20 different quotes, telling the Palestinians to leave so that their armies could come in and kill the Jews in 2 to 6 weeks and then take all of their property.
Come on.
So there was a lot of people that left voluntarily. Hold on, let me finish. There was a lot of people who left voluntarily, and then the war, those that chose to stay got citizenship in Israel, and those that left were displaced by a war. That's what happens when you start a war. So, start a war, lose a war, deal with it.
Do you really think that war is going to be the last war between Israel and Arabic people?
What? I didn't understand your question.
Do you really think this war, this current war ongoing, is going to be the last war between Israel and Arabic war?
No, it will, we've won, 5?
It's just the beginning.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. Eventually you guys will figure it out. Eventually you'll figure it out. We figured it out. We know about it.
But you said we're going to have the Sinai too. Keep attacking, we'll get more land.
I mean, you need to stop hating us, Muhammad.
The United States, just let the United States get back to his place and don't even care about this baby child, Israel, in the Middle East, and what we don't have it to Israel. From one side, we are over 100 million Egyptian citizens living there in Egypt. What's gonna happen to Israel that can't even defeat Hamas in Gaza? What's gonna happen? Think, do it.
They're smushing Gaza. They're smushing Gaza. Like, I don't understand. Like, 67, tanks are on the outskirts of Cairo, and they still teach in Egyptian schools that they won that war. Like, and the 73 war, they still teach they won that one too. Like, there's a detachment from reality in the Arab world that is like second to none.
As I told you, your friend here. By the way, guys, I know that you all people here. You are Zionism, you are Jewish. I like Jewish. My brother, but I hate Zionism. By the way, it's my moral and it's.
What is Zionism, Muhammad? What is Zionism?
I told you.
You hate Zionism.
If you're gonna answer me, I'm gonna answer you.
What is Zionism? Go ahead. What is Zionism?
I told you.
Right, but that definition is
Okay, you can ask Google.
right. A movement for the reestablishment and now the development and protection of a Jewish state in what is now Israel. Okay? That's the shortest possible definition. Now you said it was for world control and you used all of these like huge things. No, we're not trying to control anything other than our own borders. The historical borders. Okay? And even then we have less land than we historically had during the kingdom of Israel, which goes back 3,000 years, 1,000 years. So, you know, we were willing to take less, a lot less. You know,
By the way, guys. By the way, I told you we can see what's gonna happen in the upcoming days, in the upcoming years, and we can see if your country wins the war. I will come to you and I tell you if you did it, and I'm absolutely Hamas, and I'm really thinking that Hamas winning the war nowadays against your country. You're gonna tell.
If I'm winning.
okay, you can come to Tel Aviv and we'll take you out for dinner.
I'm actually going to Tel Aviv in a couple of hours. Just FYI.
Do you think you'd want to go to one of the clubs you frequent, Daniel?
Maybe.
Maybe.
You never know, you know.
You never know. You may be able to turn them.
Maybe it's already turned, but in Egypt, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's like in Iran. There are no gay people in Iran.
You know, in Al Jazeera, they have like a commentator, a Jordanian commentator. I don't remember his name. I'm sure Muhammad knows. El-Tawibi, El-Hawawibi, something like that. It's like from Al Jazeera, and he showed them every day, like I saw it and I was laughing to my. It was like he showed them like that every day we are losing like 30 tons, 50 tons. Like if you see Al Jazeera, you're 100% sure that like we lost like 5,000 tons. Almost the same as Israel. Inside,
I'm muting you because you're making a lot of noise.
inside, and you see.
Thank you. Sorry, I forgot I was on mute.
And like.
Yeah, I heard this that like every day 200 soldiers die and like 50 gangs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Al Jazeera it's like I don't get like people like actually believe that shit, and yes, they become radicalized and brainwashed with time because they kind of repeat the same narrative. I get to see some Al Jazeera because people kind of share it with me.
If Al Jazeera channel is a traitor and they liars people, you can go ahead for the spokesperson or Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu office, secretary office, and he gonna tell you everything on that. If you didn't trust Al Jazeera.
I don't trust Al Jazeera.
Your people. You can trust your people.
What did my people say?
They distort the facts about the world every single day.
Give me an example.
Give you an example. What about these people who are separating themselves in the street every single night in front of Mr. Netanyahu office and house to ask them, please, we need to retrieve our people in Gaza, bring them back home right now.
Right.
Okay.
What's your point? That is true.
Just 2 minutes ago, I watched a tweet for former Israel Prime Minister Ehud Olmert talking about Israel is losing the war. You can look for that, and maybe you can make a follow for the.
What's the connection? I'm not sure. Listen, you need to understand, okay? Israel is a free society with free speech and with freedom of protest. People have their own opinion, which is fine. Ehud Olmert has his own opinion, which is fine. He's not the prime minister, and he's not in any official role. He has an opinion. Also, Yaakov has an opinion. Ortev has an opinion. I have an opinion.
But he's a political expert more than you, and he's no understand everything on land nowadays because he's involved.
Listen, again. Listen, Muhammad, you need to understand. You need to separate facts from opinions. When Al Jazeera tells you that every day 30 tanks or 50 IDF tanks are being destroyed, that is disinformation. That is fact that is wrong. It's not an opinion, okay? You could say, okay, my opinion, Hamas is winning, because actually there is no.
That was Peter Criss singing that, and I would challenge anybody to tell me a second Peter Criss song. I bet you nobody, without googling it, nobody's coming up with that.
And that's hit #1. It was, if you want to go by the Billboard charts and sales, it was the greatest song that Kiss ever wrote, and had no guitars.
Ace Frehley went solo. I forget what the name of his thing was, but he had some cheesy songs that they used to play on MTV, and I think that's when I started realizing that there was rock and roll that I liked listening to better than that. By the time Ace Frehley was doing his little solo band thing, I was listening to things like Dio, and it's hard to listen to Dio and then listen to Ace Frehley. And if you want to make yourself laugh, go YouTube Ace Frehley laughing. That dude has got the weirdest laugh. He's the strangest fucking.
Roger, in 1980, I saw Blackmore's Rainbow. Richie Blackmore, of course, and then Ronnie James Dio had just joined the band. So it was Ronnie James Dio singing for Blackmore's Rainbow. And many of you have never heard. Actually, one of the songs from Blackmore's Rainbow is in the movie Twister, when they go chasing their first tornado. I forgot who it is. He's playing a Blackmore's Rainbow song on the left. But Roger, everybody.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Hold on 1 second. So I want to talk to Elizabeth, who's asking me if we listen to dancing. I did listen to the Misfits. I love the song "We Are 138." Very simple song, but I used to rock out to "We Are 138." And then, but there was a band that used to go around the Bay Area that would do Kiss cover songs and Misfits cover songs, and they called themselves the Kissfits. And that was a fun time because there was dive bars and getting a little bit of both.
Well, when it comes to rock and roll, 1978, and I kid y'all not, I fucking saw God when I bought the first Van Halen album and listened to it. Me and my friends were all going, what the fuck is that? Because since Jimi Hendrix, no one had ever heard anything that reshaped rock and roll. Van Halen, that's it.
Well, hold on. The debut album for Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, you can fact check me on this. I think it's the best-selling debut album of all time for any genre. You go fact check that. If I'm wrong, just whatever. It is what it is. I guess you don't lose points for being incorrect. But I'm pretty sure it's the best-selling debut album of all time. And that song, that album, there's not every song on Appetite is just a complete fucking banger. Every single one.
Hey Steve, now I know why you're hating. You thought that was God. I understand now.
Don't slow down the conversation about music. We're just.
The United bill passed. It was.
Segregated Christmas. And then it's like no white people allowed, but her white husband was there.
Does she not know who she married? You know what I'm saying? It's like, really?
That's hilarious, honestly. It's like we're living in a skit. I always feel like I'm getting punked, like whenever I read some of these news stories.
It's like a Saturday Night Live.
You gotta be a punk if you want to get punked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Edmund, are you freaking what's the name
LGBTQIA plus.
Are you Pink Floyd?
What do you mean? I'm not like a huge Pink Floyd fan, but I mean that one album with the Wizard of Oz is pretty cool.
No. Somebody got an account named Pink Floyd, and it's George Floyd, and it's pink. It's a pink version of him. Is that you?
No.
I was like, I bet you that's Edmund, cause like they say
I know it's the same thing.
Did they say something, or did you just see the profile?
Nah, I saw the profile, and I think they tried to send me something, but it didn't go through. It was like erupted or something.
No, I'm not too interested in talking about George Floyd. I mean, I'm more interested in God, getting laid, making money.
No, I
thought it was either Happy or Jazzy. I thought it was one or the other.
I don't know if Jazzy would do that though.
Whoever it is, they're wasting their time. George Floyd is dead.
Wait, we got
It's not me.
We got statues and monuments to him now.
I know, it's crazy.
So, Edmund, that person on the PTR, is that not George Harrison, Ron Wood's ex-wife?
What?
She looks like Ron Wood's ex-wife. That's not her, is it?
Excuse me?
You know who Ron Wood is from the Rolling Stones? He married a really young girl.
No, this is just some AI generated image. Sorry to disappoint.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just wondering. I was like,
the eyes give it away because the eyes look fake.
No, I think it looks real. It's just filter bullshit. It just looks like some Las Vegas fucking bar escort.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look at the bay and
not that I've ever been to Las Vegas, or that I know.
You can open when you open it up. like lift up the front cover, you can pull out filters and you can clean those filters. But inside of the body of the unit is a drum that's rolling around in there, just like pushing the air. You can't easily, without like power tools and stuff, just pull it out. You have to. You need a professional to do it because they also have to put it back together. On the other side of there is also a hose that has water in it. The water.
Wait, this is so fascinating. Can I hold on one second? Let me go get my paper and pencil so I can take notes. Excuse me.
No, thank you, John.
Congratulations. How did you know that person was the one? Tell us the story how you knew. And how long did you know? Within 6 months, second date? Tell me.
No, we met at Clubhouse. We met at Clubhouse, Alice.
Really?
She was in on the range and stuff, yeah.
No way.
Yeah. I moved to the UK.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
I love you, Oscar.
Hello?
Tell us what subject you're on.
I was talking about like people who have a piece when it comes to
Did you just fall asleep?
No, I'm listening, but I choose to engage.
What are you listening to? You were in the middle of a sentence.
Yes, for me, I heard you say people come to peace when they come to, and I was on the edge of my seat waiting for the last part.
And then your narcolepsy kicked in.
Well, with all due respect, like, I have with all due respect, like, what you determined to be like speaking, I think people are very unequivocally.
Are you like pretending to be Biden or something?
Are you a drunk black woman?
First of all, that's your opinion, and second of all, I would just say
It was a question.
David, have you been drinking Hennessy and Courvoisier on the rocks again?
Obviously.
He's going like a drunk flat.
You don't have to answer anything. You don't have to answer anything.
Are you telling yourself you don't have to answer anything?
Well, as Shabbos comes to a close, I just want to say Shavua Tov, everyone.
Oh my God. Kick him.
David, you're mumbling. Tiffany Sotheby is completely sober. I'm a strategist, a consultant, a therapist.
Can you kick him, please? Like, he has nothing to engage in a positive way.
Really? Are you sure, David?
You just like went to sleep and I go upset.
He's
I want to
neurodivergent.
hear like a very like engaging conversation that he was trying to make, but it's obviously not going to go anywhere. So, okay. Go
Listen,
ahead.
if the Rolling Stones,
Tiffany, hold on.
Exactly.
Tiffany,
Nothing.
David, listen. At some point, I hope people that are friends with you off the app can stage an intervention.
David, that means you have a drinking disorder. Your alcohol consumption level's far too high to match your skinny little, disproportionate little body. Maybe you should try to go to the gym tonight and drink some iced coffee.
I would like to ask Tiffany Sotheby if Tiffany is related to the Sotheby auction family, and if so, when I go to my next auction, does Tiffany have any recommendations for me or anything?
Sorry, Steve, you can't. I already know you can't afford anything that we auction. So good luck. Ish, do you really? Sorry, go ahead, Roger.
Ish, how come you see everything is black and white?
I set myself up for that one. Hold on.
Did you just imitate Steve's laugh? Because that was the whitest black laugh I've ever heard.
No, his was. My shit was. You ain't. I can't even do my shit again, but you get it.
You're like, you know what you remind me of? You remind me of the gay father. What was it? Family Matters. Who's the gay actor? He was Family Matters, and also he was in Die Hard. That's what
Carl Withers or whatever.
Carl Withers.
Yeah.
You look like Hulk Hogan if he had cancer. You remind me of him. Like a knockoff trucker.
Knockoff trucker. Okay. Alright. I'll try to process that.
Listen, I just want to get back on topic. Can we talk about Gen X? I'm sorry.
Y'all still talking about Gen X? Y'all not burnt out? Goddamn.
Hey, Ish. Listen. You're a diversity stage squatter.
A diversity stage squatter. That's a new one.
Yeah, you wouldn't be on the stage if it wasn't for our DEI program that we've instituted.
Wow. So I'm a token black.
Social equity in action is what we call it.
That's crazy. No doubt. You probably got some conservative ad views.
Hey Kima, do you give black riders in your Uber a discount for being black?
I give all black riders
Yo, speaking of discounts, even though this ain't about a discount per se. Yo, you know how Chinese people, I'm not sure if y'all familiar with this. Maybe y'all don't have these problems.
But I deal with Chinese people all the time. What's up?
Alright. You ever got a delivery from a Chinese person and say perhaps like forgot the tip money, and the delivery guy will ask you like no tip? You ever experienced that?
Well, with all due respect, like leave my I understand like people have preconceived notion, but
David, you might just want to mute up. You're very intoxicated. Ish, have you ever ordered Chinese food and they wouldn't deliver it to your house because you were across the street from the delivery line, and so you had to go to the janitorial closet at the building across the street to order your Chinese food, and then you didn't tip them? Did you ever see that episode on Seinfeld, David?
Why don't you use a normal voice? Just speak in your normal voice.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. This is an important conversation. Ish just asked a pretty good question. He asked a question.
Why can't
David, with all due respect, you're the drunkest guy in the room, and you're lucky to be on stage. So I want to point out, Ish had said something very interesting. He was asking a question about Chinese delivery drivers asking for the tip. What he doesn't realize that he's just done is he's explained to the entire room that he doesn't tip Chinese delivery drivers. So if you explain why you're so cheap and you don't tip, why do you not tip after a delivery?
See, that's the thing, I do, right? But I've had encounters, right, where, you know, these guys, they ask me for a tip. And funny enough, I'm not sure what prompted Tiffany to say that.
Hold on,
you know, I just think I'm being spot on by...
Just the tip.
Right.
Do you give them smegma?
Ish, do you think not tipping could be part of reparation?
Smegma's not a tip, Ish. It's called dollars.
I actually agree with that, Scott. But I got your back, man. You're my man.
Some people call it cottage cheese.
So,
have you ever put pineapples on your cottage cheese? It's delicious.
In times where, you know, they ask me for a tip, I give them the tip. Like, it is what it is. Long story short, though, other day, I'm walking down the street. I got these little shorts on. It's like basketball shorts. So it's like real loose.
You wear short booty shorts?
So, okay. So, what you call it? I hear like change clinking in my pocket as I'm walking. Like I hear like clink, clink, clink.
Is this a Jewish trope joke you're about to drop?
Did somebody, I don't know, Tiffany, the voice, the
Tiffany, give it about 3 minutes, and then we'll have a well-timed.
I'm sorry. Let me go get my white tea. I'll go get my white tea. Hold on.
It's okay. It's okay. Just let's time it really well when either David or Ish is speaking. But let's give it about 2 minutes.
So yeah, I hear change in my pocket and shit, and I have like a pet peeve about noise. I don't know what it is, but certain sounds, like if I hear roaches crawling in like a bag, that like irritates the shit out of me. If I fucking hear like roaches crawling in a bag, what do you hear? I'm telling you, I grew up in the projects. Like nigga, we have a trash bin. You hear little, just the bag moving because roaches is crawling in the fucking bag. You know what I'm saying? But if I hear like somebody chewing and I can hear the food in your mouth, that shit irritates me. Something about me and sound, little ass irritating noises, I just don't agree with them. So I take the change out of my pocket, and I'm realizing like I'm not wearing jeans. It's not gonna like stick to me. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm getting ready to throw the 10 pennies away, but I'm like, nah, that's wasteful. So the Chinese restaurants right there, they got a tip jar, of course, full of change. So I walk in there, and just me being the courteous individual that I am, right? I actually asked the woman, before I attempted to do so, hey, can I put this change in your tip jar, these 10 pennies? And I was just gonna take a dime, right? So she looks at me, this is a bitch I tip every week, all right? She comes to my door, no tip, no tip, no tip. And she said no. She said no. And I'm sitting there like,
she had every right to say. She had every right to say.
Bo.
You see, this is an important lesson for you to realize that there is no past, that when you don't tip in the present moment, no one cares how much you tipped in the past.
No, I'm sorry. I wasn't hearing it. So after she says no.
Wait, hold on. I need to interrupt here. I just want to remind people as Ish is speaking that all communication is hypnosis, but we're being hypnotized now by Ish. Ish, go.
This is what I like to call not tipping when ordering Chinese food hypnosis, a part of Tiffany Sotheby's Worldwide Conglomeration Incorporated.
Tiffany, less is more sometimes.
That's true. I totally agree with that. So, what you call it? What was I saying? Oh, by the way, I do live right across the street from the Chinese restaurant. So they actually don't have to deliver. But across the street, it's like a very long-ass street. So, maybe you could walk down the block every now and then and collect your dollar tip. Okay? And if I didn't want to tip you, even though that's never the case, because you just shouldn't mistreat people that hand you your food. I don't know. I've always had a fear of people spitting in my shit. I'm just going to give you something. All right? So when I walked in there, she said no. Like, I don't know if it was a post-traumatic poverty disorder in me, but I just felt so offended. Like, this bitch. Like, you know how much money I give the restaurant every week, and you can't do so much as exchange 10 pennies for me? So, I did something very irrational. Like, the smarter thing to do would have just been throw the pennies down the drain or something, or even better, put them in a piggy bank, because I don't know, I just don't value my pennies. But yeah,
if you order from a kosher takeout restaurant, you're never gonna have this dilemma again.
Oh my God, I'll tell you my experience in a kosher spot. But yeah, I just opened the tip jar, I threw the 10 pennies in there, and took a quarter. She starts screaming, she goes, ay, you can't do that, you can't do that. Her husband runs to the front. He sees me, and when he sees me, the dude delivers to me so much, he's like, hey, what? He's confused. So his wife tells him what's going on, and he kind of does like one of those, like, how you put it?
Jackie Chan spinning ninja kick?
No. You ever see like a person like flat something away? Like, I don't know how to explain this shit, but he kind of was just like, what the fuck? Like, why didn't you?
He shoot his bitch.
I could just tell in Chinese, he was reprimanding her. Like, bitch, I tip you every fucking week. Every week, bitch. And you can't exchange 10 fucking pennies, oh? This is why y'all shouldn't even have stores in the fucking black community. Because if niggas is short on 2 nickels, bitch, we not gonna get our food. But we come in here, you know what I'm saying? We need a little exchange, a little something, and it's just an exchange. Like, they acted like I was asking them for money. And
well,
that's
actually, it brings up an interesting etiquette thing. Is it ever appropriate to reach into someone's tip jar, even if you're exchanging 10 pennies for a dime, without asking first?
No, it isn't. And she's not a bank. But you walk around looking for problems. It's pretty clear. Not talking to you. Talking to Ish.
Well, you know, some may say this. I should let y'all know that when I was younger, right, I didn't live the most legal lifestyle. So to me, that was nothing. Like, oh, okay. Like bitch. As a matter of fact, I have no problem saying this. I take great pride in the fact that when I was a teen living in the projects and they came to my delivery building, I robbed them motherfuckers. Okay? So,
yeah. So, however, arguably, I know when I've been to a piano bar and I see a shitload of ones in the tip jar, I'm not going to put a 20 in and take out 19 ones without asking first.
You know, Ish, in 1945, when tens of thousands of Americans died liberating Europe from the Nazi scourge, it was all so we could spend our time together here on Clownhouse to listen to you tell us how you screwed over these Chinese food delivery drivers and robbed them. Mazel tov.
I have a question for you, Ish. What was your financial plan for that dime?
No, I literally had no plan for it. That's why I said I did something very stupid. Because, on God, it'd have been smarter to just throw the 10 pennies down the drain. I was going to do that. But just thinking to myself, because I watch a lot of videos, it's this YouTube channel called A-Lux. It's about, like, financial literacy and shit. I mean, so just thinking to myself about being resourceful, you know, I impulsively just say, yo, you know what? They're going to give it to me, right? Like, I know these guys. This was, you know, the pretense or the misimpression that I had, or false impression, rather, that I had. And when I walked in there, at first, it was like, oh, whatever. But then it took like maybe a couple of milliseconds for it to click, like, hold on. Y'all niggas probably make at least a couple hundred a month. Or maybe not these days, but they was making...
I don't have anything to do with
The story sounds very penny ante.
Penny ante. That
maybe
sounds.
Maybe they make $10,000. Maybe they make $10,000 a month. Still doesn't. Again, I say you should ask. Anybody, including me, should ask before sticking my hand in a tip jar.
No, but that's the thing. I did ask. I was, you know, denied respectfully, and I just felt that the denial was, I don't know, it bordered on disrespect, even though they were entitled to their right to deny me to an exchange.
So, let me ask you this. Do you think that the offense they took to what you were doing and the way that you interpreted what their reaction is disrespect, do you think that their reaction was racially motivated?
You know, I hate, who asked that, Roger? Is it Roger that asked that? If Roger asked that, no comment. Let's move forward. All right? Nonetheless.
Do all white people sound the same to you?
You guys got jokes today. No. It is what it is. So don't tip the Chinese. That's the moral of this story. They are ungrateful. Well, let me not. Anyway, yes, they're very frugal, and it comes off as ungrateful.
I feel like the Chinese are totally underrepresented on this app. Why is that?
Because they trying to become astronauts and shit. We American.
But there's 1.2 billion of them. How could I have never spoken to, except for maybe 2 small little Chinese nothings who were afraid to say anything?
They might be smarter than us. They might be smarter than us.
Do you mean they don't come on social audio chit-chat apps and tell each other how they fucked over their Chinese delivery driver? They actually talk about something useful, productive, pragmatic?
So it could be. This is why the Clubhouse founders floundered, right? Because they didn't make Tiffany and Ish creators, right? Like, this is the kind of content, not that other bullshit that we heard about 3 years ago.
You mean Dr. Copeland?
And for the record, there are lots of Chinese on here.
Tiffany, hold on, guys. I just want to point out that we've got the weirdest stage ever assembled, and Frank hasn't even said a word yet. But Kelly, you were going to say?
I was. Frank, shut up. Shut up. I was just going to point out that there are lots of Chinese on here. I think if you go to the right rooms, but there's, in particular, Tiger, who gets mad when you talk about his penis, and he says he's going to rape people.
That's true. I forgot about the Chinese guy who talks about eating flowers every time he talks. He's an interesting Chinaman.
I ain't gonna lie. The Chinese are like the Jews, but like just fucking just 30 times more massive. Like, it don't make no sense. Or like they hella conservative and we work hard.
Being cheap is not a cultural trait, that's a trope.
Nah, see, they hella conservative. Like, I feel like Chinese people, they not out to socialize. They not out to get to know you unless, and y'all gonna say I see everything through a racial lens, but it is what it is, unless you white. If you're white, you know, they think you should go, you're a white American. But for the most part, they not really just out here showing their teeth, trying to get outside of their...
You know, in Chicago, we have a crime epidemic, and it's actually juvenile Chinese youth that ran through the border, made their way up here, and now they're doing all the carjackings. And where's Hakima? Hakima, look out for these Chinese immigrants who are doing a lot of these robberies, as well as the MAGA youth. The 17-year-old MAGA men in this country are leading a crime wave unprecedented in American history. And David, you drank too much vodka tonight.
Well, Asians have the highest income per capita in this country, higher than whites, higher than anybody. So they don't bow down to the whites either, okay?
That's actually not true. What you call it? I think it's Indians and them that's like performing the highest. But as far as like the whole them not bending the knee to white folks, you're bugging. All right, they got that.
I think it's actually Nigerians and Indians that are.
I think it's Nigerians within the black race, like they're the highest. But I don't know. It could just be the whole United States of America. I'm pretty sure though it's within black people, like Nigerians are the highest crime and whatever. But Indians, I know them motherfuckers, and the Chinese, like white people, just they can't compare. At least not in this country right now. All right. But both of those groups, both of those ethnic groups, I must say, all right, both of them, Indians and Chinese, they have been castrated psychologically as a people. Castrated. When it comes
What does
to,
that mean? They work at Google, like hundreds of thousands of them, and all the major tech companies. They run the world. Who the fuck are you?
Well, I gotta tell you, people from the subcontinent in India and Chinese from China, they own all of the hotels in the United States. They have their own association called the Asian American Hotel Operators Association, and they own almost all the friggin' hotels. They're industrious.
That's a lot of real estate, a lot of land.
And Dunkin' Donuts. They own lots of Dunkin' Donuts, all of them. And most of them are engineers that made their money in engineering and invested in franchises and make tons of money.
Actually, the richest man in the world, one of the richest, his son is getting married in India.
Brother, I just heard yesterday, I found out that Jewish people own 51% of the economy.
Jewish people own 51% of all the McDonald's.
Are you saying that Jews run McDonald's?
That's
I'm
come on.
That's the French family alone.
Let me right. He said they own 51% of McDonald's, and the reason why is they have $1 billion in the bank. And you have to be referred by someone that owns it or something. That's how they came to.
Is that what Willie Wilson told you on the South Side?
What'd you say, Kim?
You got 51%?
I said in Chicago, Willie Wilson, who has run for mayor and lost numerous times, owns many McDonald's.
Tiffany, I know that you identify as a woman right now, but if you could speak less, I would appreciate it.
That's a you problem, Kelly. You're the one with the mood swing disorder, not Tiffany Sotheby.
Yeah, like I ain't gonna lie, Edmund, like what's the matter? Like what is like what did you get out of this right here? Like I know you've been tight at me for talking about the black shit and reparations.
Ish, Tiffany.
What do you get out of this? That's the important question.
My bad, Hakima. Your mic was coming off a little low. I don't know if it's my phone.
It's because you're never muted and there's a lot of background noise and it cuts out others.
Now I'm chilling, I'm laying there. It's kind of annoying turning over like.
Are you Black American or are you Haitian American? Or is it the same thing?
I'm a Haitian American.
Oh, okay.
That's still a form of Black American, but I'm not Haitian American.
But you guys not hold reparation from the U.S., right? You more like France?
We actually entitled to compensation from the U.S. If you know.
Is it the same claim as the Black Americans, like so-called FBAs or whatever? My group call themselves. Is it the same claim or a different claim?
All of our claims is different, but essentially the situation, the framework is the same. But yeah, Black Americans had their slavery or their bondage that they went through, and Haitians had their bondage that they went through. But the fact of the matter is, the Americans, they wasn't really too heavily involved in the whole bondage. You mean that was definitely France. Most of the French though,
Every taxpayer
right? After they made that agreement in 1825 to pay them niggas their money, like 100 years later, the Americans they basically paid the French off. Like, yo, we'll take the shit from here type shit. Cause you know Europe, all their countries suck on the American titty for life type shit. You mean? Cause America got hegemony in the West. So, you mean, the French, they was on some, all right, cool, y'all take it from here, but them taking on, essentially, what they call that leadership of that country, meant that financial relationships would pivot from Haiti doing more business with France to Haiti doing basically business exclusively with America. And, you know, they just spent decade after decade creating policies that undermined the country's standing, its ability to be self-sufficient. And today, you know nothing of what's going on in the soil because of the unwritten rule in the American government called the Negro Containment Policy. But that's a separate conversation. But yeah, we got different claims, brother.
I'm just wondering because I ain't speaking reparations right. But I'm wondering, I'm not the man you got to claim it all. I'm just wondering.
My bad. A lot of that came out from you, but I'm not denying you got to claim it all. And shout out to that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Do you believe that you deserve reparations, you personally?
Absolutely. The legacy of that past has affected me the present day. Absolutely.
Where's Tiffany when we need her?
What about all the descendants of the 110,000 Chinese Americans that were interned during World War II? Don't you think that's affected their descendants?
Well, they would have been Japanese, but.
Okay.
The Japanese did get money.
The question still stands.
Well, I think he answered it effectively. The Japanese did get money, which shows that the U.S.
I'm
hasn't
talking
had
about their
a
descendants, sir. Their descendants, their children and grandchildren.
Well, they don't deserve it if the intern got the money. Just like if the free slave got to get money, though, the descendants won't deserve it back.
Okay, so if the grandparents got it, then the descendants, it doesn't matter if it affects them now or not. The descendants are not entitled.
Right.
Okay, all right.
As long as the debt was paid, I mean, you can't pay the debt twice, but you should pay it at least once.
And no one's. I think that every time white people hear reparations, right, they think to themselves, you know what I'm saying, we pay that money, the state collapses, and we got no money, right? But y'all sent all this unnecessary money to countries that is doing God knows the fuck what with your money, type shit.
I don't think that.
I've got a question for you. If the field order was carried through, what would you do with a mule?
I mean, I don't give a fuck. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't there. I wasn't trying to get no mule, nigga.
No, I'm just saying, if you was given a mule, what would you do with it?
Give it to the Chinese.
Or whatever people in that era was doing with mules. I don't need no mule. Give me something relevant, like today. You know what I'm saying? Give me, like, some stock with Google or one of these fucking, give me some stock from Citibank. Because Citibank, after they ran up in Haiti and pillaged and shit, they got established off the gold reserves that was found in Haiti type shit. Like, we literally founded a bank in America on behalf of their people. So, yeah, give me some of that stock, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, give me a reduction in taxes type shit.
All right, hold on. Would you take a Dogecoin?
Nah, I need something secure. I need something that's stable. You mean we not really trusting the crypto? Like, sure, it got value, but it could go left or right. We don't know. You know what I mean? So, give me something stable. Like, y'all niggas got gold reserves. Gold never gonna go out of style. For me.
Personally, I'll take Bitcoin.
How about an interest-free loan on a 30-year fix? That would be stable for 30 years, and it would be an interest-free loan. So over 30 years, literally, you are getting probably $500,000 in savings in it.
You know what I found about the most people that's against reparations are really like immigrants, like the people that got here post 1900, like wasn't even here during slavery.
Yo,
who really shouldn't even have to say so. You guys' family came to the country after it did its dirt. I get how you feel like you don't owe personally. I get that, but you married into a country that do owe the debt. But it is odd that the people that's post 1900 are the people was most in reparation.
So wait, I got a question. So what would you say to the nearly 700,000 Union soldiers that paid the price of blood to free the slaves during the Civil War? Was that not payment enough from all the whites? Let me finish. So there were Irish people that came over on boats that were immediately hamstrung and put into Union soldiers' uniforms and pressed into service to go fight that war to free the slaves. Now, everybody says that war was about slaves. I'm not going to argue that. I agree for the most part. But almost 700,000 Union soldiers died or were wounded to free the slaves.
Okay,
so what about their reparations? I'm going to close. I'm going to land my plane.
No. I'm a mod. So hold on,
let me land my plane.
I will. But I'm telling you, you can't dominate your way, and you repeat the same thing you said. But to your point about the Irish people, they came as indentured servants, and they worked their way through. They wasn't kidnapped. They wasn't enslaved. They came through as indentured servants. But if they want to make a claim, I have no quarrels about anyone that want to make a claim, but just because one group isn't making a claim doesn't mean another group isn't all owed their claim. Like, I don't get where that logic comes from.
The devastated white Southerners get reparations from the government.
Or whoever. If they don't feel like they
Hakima, here's the thing, Hakima, you missed. She isn't making a point about Irish making any kind of claim. She's saying that a lot of these immigrants were immediately put on the battlefield and killed. That's her point. It has nothing to do with any claim.
I was gonna get to that part too, Kevin, because a lot of blacks were also killed on those fields also. So that war and the results of that war don't have anything to do with the debt that the country owes someone. I mean, that's kind of a crazy claim to say just because a war was fought.
The Civil War
They are owed their crime.
does not pay off any debts to the ADOS. The Civil War does not pay off any debts to the ADOS.
Marched off in good faith from Massachusetts to fight that war to free the slaves and bled for that cause.
The Civil War does not pay off any debts to the ADOS.
My ancestors shed blood to free slaves. What I owe.
Okay, you don't owe anything the government owes. So like it's not. May I finish? May I please finish? It comes from the same place the government gets its other money from. They borrow from the Federal Reserve, and then people end up paying it back in perpetual debt. But the fact that no one ever asks where the money comes from to go fight $1 trillion wars. So don't ask where the money is going to come from to pay a debt that it clearly owes. They clearly promised they were going to pay, but never paid. But so like I don't get the claim that you're going to eliminate something because some people died on the battlefield. Like I appreciate those people, but they weren't the only people that died on the battlefield.
So ADOS wants Federal Reserve money and stick the debt on all the taxpayers.
I asked that question where the money comes from the government. It comes from us. Every dime they spend comes out of my pocket.
And that's the way that this country works. They take taxes to pay their debts. Go ahead.
Appreciate you, brother. So, what you call it? This why I respect the Jews. I ain't gonna lie.
So ADOS wants Federal Reserve money and stick the debt on all the taxpayers.
They not worried about folks like Jessica, a private citizen, and essentially inconsequential human being in the grand scheme of things. She think that she actually gonna have to pay, like folks is gonna reach into her account to pay the whole of black people. You know what I'm saying? Nah, it don't work like that. I guarantee you, it's plenty of shit that she disagree with, right? That's going on in the world in terms of what we funding. But guess what? Whilst having that disagreement, right? All them tax dollars you see being wasted, what coup you participate in it? You know what I'm saying? What resistance you participate in it in the name of fighting the corruption in your government type shit. All them funds being wasted. I ain't knocking what we get as Israelis or nothing, feel me? But I'm just saying, $3.8 billion a year since 1970. That's almost $300 billion, feel me? In the name of them, resolving a conflict out there type shit. That shit don't look resolved to me type shit. And you mean Ukraine? How many billions of dollars we've been sending them panhandling motherfuckers? Every year, them niggas panhandle. Zelensky shaking his cup. Please, money, America. The fuck out of here.
It's physical war. Allah takes war to beat anybody who's going against Allah. Disobedience. Just disobedience itself is going against Allah. Do you agree with that, Searcher? Let me ask you a question, Kay. Let me make sure Searcher answers that real quick, because he keeps trying to get out the loose and my nigga keeps trying to say
Allahu Akbar! Ceasefire now! Stop the genocide! Allahu Akbar!
Israelis, they gotta revisit. Now, they probably didn't stifle the deal all the way, but y'all get what I'm getting at. At the end of the day, the white folks that gave us the policies that assisted us, What prompted them to recognize the seriousness of the issue was violence on every occasion. On every occasion. When Abraham Lincoln, you know what I'm saying, felt that perhaps slavery should come to an end, and, the whole of Europe was participating in the trend, all right? What did them white folks do? They picked up guns, okay? They went to war on behalf of race. Moving beyond that, to me, all the riots that happened in associating with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all these different leaders.
That's blasphemy. I'm not doing that.
You mean, all them riots, even, look, just a couple of years ago, no disrespect to George Floyd, but you mean, he lived how he lived. Son was an addict. You heard? He died with a cotton knee on his neck as a functioning perhaps addict. The fact of the matter is, and I don't mean to be insensitive, you would have thought that he was Barack Obama, the way the fucking country reacted and turned itself inside out. So I feel white folks recognize that black people, if we don't address their woes, can become a national security threat. That's why they created the Jim Crow laws in the first place. Like, we need to contain these niggers, all right? And, they said, you know what? I think the best thing is to desegregate, etc., etc. So, I forgot where I was going with that, but that's my spiel. Hopefully my plan come back.
What do you think about the Black Farmers lawsuit, the class action against the Department of Agriculture?
You don't have to answer that.
They can if they want to.
What do you think about it? What do you think about it?
I think it was a very good decision. My brother was one of the lawyers representing the black farmers. I think it was an excellent decision. They were discriminating.
What did that affect on this conversation?
Well, you're talking about race and disparities and inequality. It fits.
Why are you yelling? Calm down.
Well, Joe, why don't you tell us about it? Because I ain't know too much. Whenever you mention racism in any industry, obviously it's no surprise to me, but I'm not hip to that, specific instance of it. So please put me on.
They, over a long period of time, black farm. I'll talk the way I want to. Thank you.
Hey, come on, David. There's nothing wrong with Joe, you're just fine.
Hold on. David, listen. I don't know how long it'll be before you pass out again, but you won't be in this room much longer if you don't shut the fuck up.
Go ahead, Joe. Joe, you still there? You muted up. You didn't know that.
Of course I'm muted up. I'm staying muted.
That's fine.
Can I make a question?
That's just fine.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie though. If David gonna keep coming over, Mike, you might as well just shoot him. Let Joe talk. We try and hear that, bro. Tell us about the Black Farmers.
Joe, the only person we were trying to get to mute up was David because he's spit-faced and he's cute.
I was only relating to him. Everyone else has been very polite, so thank you for that. Over a long period of time, in farming, you have to get loans, and the USDA provides those loans. Otherwise, you can't plant your crops because you got to wait for them to grow and you got to sell them. So you need financing every year, and black farmers were being discriminated against, not given the loans, and it caused them to go into bankruptcy, many of them, or not be able to grow their businesses. And they decided to sue the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It took quite a while. They won, and I think that was a very, very good decision for people who are living today and suffering in inequity. And That's the story. It's 1.25 billion, and it was a very good decision, and they made it right.
I agree with you. They made it right, but like I said, I didn't see what that had to do with the conversation. I guess it is like some trivia that goes with this conversation, but I don't see the relation to reparations or anything like that.
Nah, but that's a form of repair, my brother.
No, I agree. I'm saying I know they paid. I don't see. Like, we talk about them not paying.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure.
well, wait a minute now. The Japanese internment doesn't have a whole lot to do with the reparations from the 1800s. That was paid to present day Japanese and immediate families that were affected by it. So I don't think that it is a misdirection of the conversation. It's relevant, and it seems nobody knew about it.
I knew about it, but also I also feel like the Japanese part wasn't really relevant since somebody brought it up if they were interned but didn't get repaired. So I thought that was irrelevant also to the conversation, but they did get repaired.
Yeah, and then, after my brother worked on that case, he worked on another case with Walter C. Chestnut on black reparations. That particular one failed. This is back in the 1990s. So there's some interesting history that people are not aware of.
I'm with you. And I'm going to definitely look deeper into the farmers. What's the name of that skid, dude?
If you search Black Farmers Class Action Lawsuit, U.S. Department of Agriculture or USDA, you'll get it.
Oh, type this shit. Alright, boom. We speaking of black farmers and shit. I guess it's triggering little neurons or whatever you call them shits in your head, in my brain, the fire. But that shit made me think of Arkansas. And once I started thinking of Arkansas, I was thinking about the rice deal that we had with the U.S. But then it brought me back to reparations, right? And just how much the State Department and honestly, no majority white populated country doesn't want reparations to become a reality. And it's actually reflected or evidenced by my country, Haiti. There was a coup that took place in 2004, right? Look up the reason for why the coup took place, okay? So Haiti, the first time Americans dropped bombs, right, on a small shanty town or any place abroad, right, with an airstrike, was the island of Haiti. They did it in 1915. They occupied it up until the late 1930s. Next thing you know, we get this guy named Commandant Duvalier. This guy sniffed coke, did voodoo, and ran, a little small militia group called the Tonto Makut. And they ran into different villages, essentially committing human rights abuses against people. He's shortly thereafter ousted, okay? His son takes power, his son is ousted, he goes to flee and, essentially live elsewhere. And Haiti, right, holds its first democratic elections. So there's this preacher by the name of Aristide in Haiti who runs for office, and he goes throughout every single corner, every single stretch of the shanty towns, basically telling the people, hey, this is my policy, this is my position, and this is what I'm here to do for you. The CIA, specifically Hillary Clinton, they were backing a candidate, some former world banker, a Haitian guy. He was like the finance minister, something to that effect of the country. Long story short, they dump a bunch of money into this guy, and somehow he loses. Next thing you know, a coup is initiated in the country. Small group of militiamen backed by the CIA, right, take control of the country. Now, I think Aristide is the one dude in history to have been cooled twice. Because after the situation is effectively contained and he's brought back into power, right, and becomes Haiti's president once again, you know, he continues to, of course, act in service of the Haitian people, right? But acting in service of the Haitian people simply naturally conflicted with the policies of the United States government. Because, you know, the United States government was doing things like taking some of the tariffs that we had on American goods, right? And dropping or just totally eliminating them. So now Haitian goods could no longer compete in the Haitian market, which means, you know, they're sending all of the money out of the country, which obviously doesn't promote a better quality of life or wealth within the country. No money is circulating within it. Long story short, Aristide at some point, right, recognizes that the problem that Haiti has part of it is somewhat beyond him. So one day he goes up, and this is after several meetings with the State Department, and he gives a speech, right? This speech was an outright demand for reparations. He demanded it from France. He said that due to the crimes against humanity committed against our people, right? You know, in several ways, our development has been stifled. Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, this is our position as a sovereign people. We're not, you know, in agreement with you guys. We don't wish to have relations with you guys until such and such conditions can be met. Do you know that a bunch of SEALs ran in this man's home and, you know,
how's your emo? You can punch.
Tuesday. Hey, name. It's the rose stuff you remember from Maya's room. Oh, yes, it's the rose. Yeah, anyway, I come up here to say name. I watched your music video. Oh, yeah. And honestly, babe, that video was beyond everything. It actually made me cry. Like, I can't explain it, but like your lyrics within that song was so touching and so powerful. The message. Like within 5 to 10 seconds of just listening to it was emotional. Well done, babe. Well done. Good for you. Oh, thanks. And I pray to God that it makes a success. Amen. And
every last one of them was invested in that black gold loan.
Hi, this is the Tiffany Sotheby Talk Therapy Podcast. This is your good friend Tiffany.
Oh, I'm down on my boat.
I just wanted to say hey to.
Oh, hi, Ashley. Hi. Welcome to the Talk Therapy Podcast.
Hey, I'm only staying for a second, but I just wanted to say you're absolutely awesome.
Get your talk therapy off real quick before you gotta go. Get your dopamine feedback loops in. Tell me whatever you want to tell me quick.
Oh no, I was just saying hi, and you were awesome, and I love everything you did yesterday. I mean, if you do it again, I'll never forget that. But that was all the 4 years I've been on here. That was wild as fuck.
Well, what did I do that was so funny? What was tickling your feather?
And I forgot her name. They were talking to her, and she was just saying, "Put some bass in your voice." And you went as deep as you could, deeper than Barry White. And if you were under the influence, you're really a woman.
It's so crazy. It's like, honestly, there's so many horny guys that, like, you know, just like, basically what I'm saying is there's so many, like, repressed people that the moment, I don't know, people's brains are just so easily manipulated. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, so when you did that, like, I'm not, because I just met you, and I really thought you were a woman at first, because it's Tiffany. So then when you did that bass thing, I was like, oh, and then when you said you were a voice instructor, or a voice, you're good at voices, I was like, oh, this is nice. It was like a breath of fresh air, something different, but something unforgettable. And random, but it was like perfect timing for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know many people who, like, control rooms like I do. So, like, when people hear my troll, they're like, what the fuck was that? Like, they're kind of left in disbelief. Like, holy fuck. Like, because nobody just makes random troll attacks, you know? If they do, they're always usually international or they're drunk. But, like, very few people are, like, actively prank calling this app.
Right. And I just wanted to say,